What is going on, guys? Chris here and welcome back to another Sax Son video. Now, this week's been a pretty full-on week for me with my saxophone. So first of all, I joined a saxophone orchestra. It's a group called the Saxophone Orchestra Manchester, and it's basically about 40 different saxes all getting together and playing music. It was a great experience. It was a little bit scary because I was playing in a group for the first time in quite a while, so there was that element to it, but overall it was a great time and I can't wait to go back in a month's time. I also had my first ever saxophone lesson. Now, I've been playing the sax for about 8 months now. I started in May 2022 with an alto saxophone. So I've been self-taught, I've been going through the motions, I've been learning where to put my fingers, how to blow into the instrument, but for the very first time I actually went to a person who is very, very good and very knowledgeable about saxophone, and I played in front of her, and turns out I have a lot of bad habits that I've picked up and I've created for myself, and I thought I would go through them in this video just in case there are any of you out there who've done exactly what I've done and just sort of made things harder for myself. So bad habit number one, and it's a pretty bad one, and it's something I've been doing since I started playing the saxophone. I have videos of myself from week 1, week 2, month 1, month 2, of me lifting my fingers off the keys very, very far to the point that I'm not really touching them. Da, 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 da. Just like that, except when I'm playing. As you can imagine, that's making things quite difficult for me, because when I lift my fingers up, sure, I get my hands off the key and the key lifts quite quickly, but then when I have to put all my fingers back down again, I have a lot more distance to travel, so I'm not really working very efficiently there. So basically, when I play, I need to make sure that my fingers are staying as close as possible to the key buttons, and if possible, not even lifting off the buttons. I found that my G finger is the biggest sort of perpetrator of this bad habit, and it sticks out like this when I play, which is absolutely terrible, and I had absolutely no idea that I was doing it, so it's definitely good to have that pointed out. I think that'll be a real challenge that I have to overcome, because it's something I'm doing unconsciously, and I really need to focus and bring myself back to the instrument and make sure that I get rid of that habit, because it is really just not a good habit to have. The next habit relates a bit more closely to the soprano, but it is also relevant for the alto. Basically, I went into my lesson with my soprano saxophone and I got ready to play, and I stood there just like this and stuck my head facing down and started blowing, and she sort of said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what are you doing there? That's not right." Basically, when my posture's terrible, when I'm hunched over, when my head's pointing down and I have to look up at the music, and my soprano's pointing down, I'm really restricting my airways, and I'm, reducing the amount of air that can actually get out of my lungs and through the instrument. So what I need to be doing is standing up straight. I need to have the soprano lifted up, not like a clarinet, which is what I'm used to, but lifted up, shoulders back, head up, and I just need to make sure I'm really optimizing my airways and making sure I have enough air going out of my neck. That sounds so weird, but out of my neck, into my mouth, through the instrument. It's like I'm becoming one with the saxophone. So rather than this, it's this. I don't know if there was a difference there or not, but it felt way more comfortable. I finished the scale, I was, still had plenty of breath, it was no sweat whatsoever. When I'm doing this, I'm just making it harder for myself, and that's a terrible thing that I have in all areas of my life. My posture is just terrible. It's good that somebody said, "You look like a goblin, you need to stop doing that," because it's allowed me to see that it's something I need to work on. The next thing is related but not quite the same, but when it comes to airflow, that's something that I was definitely lacking, and a part of it was my terrible posture and the way that I was holding my soprano. And with alto it's a little bit different because it goes into your mouth at about 45 degrees. Your head's naturally up, you don't play alto like this because that feels even more unnatural. But what you can do to physically get more air out of your body is something that I think a lot of people forget to do. Playing saxophone can feel very, very natural because everybody breathes in and out. So all you're doing is channeling that natural breath into your instrument and making music with it. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. If I want a purer sound from my instrument, I need to have a purer breath. That's not quite the right thing, but my breath needs to be as focused as possible. It needs to be going through the horn at, sort of a very precise and a very consistent rate if I want it to sound good and consistent. If I just kind of blow out and play a C scale, obviously you can tell that's a C scale. All of the notes are somewhat pitched and it makes a sound, but it sounds very flat, very flaccid. It just doesn't sound good. If I take a nice deep breath and I feel the air in my abdomen and my diaphragm, and I sort of push the air out using those muscles, sort of my core muscles and again the diaphragm, and sort of push it up and out, this is what it sounds like. Which to me is much better. I feel like it just makes for a much deeper, much purer and a much more rounded sound. And I think something that I do is I sort of start with the right intentions. If I'm playing loud, I play like that, but when it comes to playing quietly, I just sort of teeter off and the sound just disappears. So what I really want to work on and sort of eradicate as a bad habit is just letting the air go and not really thinking about it, because it's so easy to just forget about it and get lost in the notes that you're playing or the song that you're doing. So it's a matter of, having the airflow to compensate for the dynamic changes, which is something I've not been doing, obviously. So the last one's a bit of a tricky one. I'm not sure how I'm going to show this, but it was my embouchure. My embouchure is terrible, apparently. So that's new. It's hard to explain, but my embouchure is kind of pouty, or at least it was. I'm going to have to use a mouthpiece to show this, otherwise I don't know how I'm going to explain it. So basically, what I've been doing is, I've almost been pouting like that when I play the saxophone. So my bottom lip has been curling out, and I've sort of been, I don't know what I've been doing. I've been basically just using my bottom lip without my teeth at all. My teeth are out of the equation. They are sunk back, doing nothing. So I've been using my top tooth on the tip of the mouthpiece with my lip, and then my bottom lip has been shouldering the burden of the pressure, sort of, I don't know why it's out, but it's out like that. And basically, it's not terrible because I've been playing and I feel like I've been sounding alright and I've still been making progress. However, it also contributes to that sound of it just being kind of flat and a little bit unfocused and a bit directionless. It sort of lacks any direction musically, and what I mean by that is it just doesn't sound like I'm trying to make a sound, if that makes sense. Whether I'm playing loud or quiet or, crescendoing or diminuendoing, it all kind of sounds the same, and that's because I'm limited by my lack of anything when it comes to the bottom. So basically what my teacher said is you need to get your teeth in there, sort of in the cave of the bottom lip, I suppose, and then when I sort of engage my embouchure, my chin should be completely flat. Whereas the way I've been doing it, I mean, it's a very small change, but I will be honest, when I'm playing with my lip and my teeth sort of working together and my chin flat, I feel like I have so much more control over the instrument just before I even blow a note. It just feels like I'm engaged with the mouthpiece and almost at one with the mouthpiece. When I had my lip open at the bottom, it just kind of felt like I was sticking something in my mouth and blowing, and do not do anything with that. Yeah, there's something magical about that. It's such a big difference, and I can't believe I've sort of let that slide. But I guess, you know, I've just been playing and I've been assuming that it sounds okay, therefore it must be okay. But it's funny, since I've been changing my embouchure, my stamina and my endurance has really gone down. I feel like my lips start burning much, much sooner. And that's because I'm using a different set of muscles with the teeth sort of in there like that and my chin sort of being completely flat. I'm engaging a whole different part of my bottom jaw. So it's something I really need to build up, but I am very excited to see how that goes in the future. Anyway, I guess that's kind of it really. Those are the 4 things that were brought to light, and yeah, on the one hand it's a bit of a bummer. You know, I was really excited for my first lesson, and all I really got were sort of negative habits that I picked up. However, it's also so useful to know these things, especially at this stage, because I could have gone on and played for 2 years, 3 years and been using all of these bad habits. So the fact that somebody's there to bring them to light, and no doubt if I start doing them again, to tell me that I need to stop doing them, that's really useful for me, and it's something that I think is very valuable. So that's what I'm going to be working on. You know, I've got a new focus really going forward. It's something where I can play whatever I want when I practice, but I need to remember to keep those 4 things at bay, because if I keep going, I'm just going to be limited much more down the line. So in any case, I'm going to stop talking. That's it for the video. Let me know what your bad habits are in the comments down below. Let me know if you do any of these things or anything else that you do. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video, and please subscribe to be notified when new videos come out. And if you really want to, click the notification bell and you'll get a little notification whenever we get a new upload. That's it guys, have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time. Alright, bye.